So the other day I was replying to comments on my latest G News video, and a channel named Normakes asks me what I would do if I owned GD, and well, I love the idea of me being in charge so much that I thought, why not make a video out of it? In all seriousness though, there are more than a few major changes I would make to the game if I were in Rob Tob's position, for the good of the game's client, the community, and generally the overall experience. I had one or two ideas initially, but I really need that 10-minute ad revenue, with January ad rates being so low, so I brainstormed some ideas, how they'd work, and I'm quite excited to share a few of them with you. So here are a few things I would change if I owned Geometry-Dash. I know I've been quite prone to banging on about this for a while now, but ever since I found the art, made the video and explored the idea, something I've really been hoping for in GD is the deadly difficulty. Now, I'm not that bothered about whether it comes in the form of deadly or not, or whatever it's called, and if it's called something else, but I really think it's necessary for GD to have a rank above Extreme Demon now, with so many Extreme Demons out nowadays. The entire Demons list is populated, bar one or two entries, by Extreme Demons, and just 2 years ago, even the number 40 was a hard demon, and there was only really one or two Extreme Demons on the list. If the Deadly Demon difficulty was implemented, not only would it look really cool, but I think it would also serve a big purpose in this community and would add some actual clout back to the highest level of demon nowadays, because, let's face it, anyone who puts in enough effort and has a decent enough PC can beat an Extreme Demon. So, Deadly Demon difficulty for levels like Plasma Pulse Finale is my first alteration I'd make, and I think that would be really easy to add and for the good of the game. The next one isn't exactly a massive change per se, given it's not an actual alteration I would make to the game, but I think Rob Tob has missed out on rating some really good levels in the past, most notably Recropolix by Blast CFB. That's about to get a big popularity boost thanks to Sagayesta, and Rob Tob has in fact acknowledged this level before and said no to rating it in the past. There are a few other levels I guess could be rated too. Unnerved Fexty is something I'd like to see, as well as like Deadly Corridor, A Darker Fate, stuff like that really. There are hundreds of unrated levels that could be rated, so I guess you'll have your own suggestions. So my next change is alterations to the new mod system in Geometry-Dash. I have two changes and I think both are highly necessary and would do a lot for the game and would improve the contributions mods give to the community. The first addition would be to decentralise the rating of levels from Rob Tob. At the moment, mods can only suggest stars, but they usually get their way. I would have it so that the most senior, most trusted mods like Viperin could actually rate levels themselves. I wouldn't give this to all mods, like I said, only the most uppermost trusted moderators. I know the immediate issue with this is that if they abuse their power, but if you think about it, Viperin has nearly 150,000 subscribers and he talks to Rob Tob all the time and he pretty much runs half of GD as it is, so he's not going to go and mess around with his position. The problem with mod status being abused has been brought to light before with Rob Buck, and this wasn't anything to do with a mod being actually able to rate a level, and so I think even without this feature, mod status abuse can be a problem, so this wouldn't really be a catalyst, so there's no real reason not to add it. The next one is starting to happen more now, like with players who cover a lot of levels like Petition, but I'd like to see more player mods made. Not a lot, only a handful, but players like Shaggy23 cover hundreds of levels a day and are far more likely to pick up rate-worthy levels. Obviously, player mods wouldn't be allowed to rate levels, like I'm proposing for the senior mods, but generally it would expand the mod system, and these two features would help a lot more unknown levels become rated. The next alteration is to verify some YouTuber profiles. This one is fairly self-explanatory and works exactly the same as on YouTube and Twitter. Sometimes there are fake accounts of players and impersonations made, so I think it would be good if Rob could add a feature to like verify tick profiles, especially for GD YouTubers with over a certain subscriber limit, say 5,000. This would stop people on GD creating new profiles just to gain attention and would help fans have confidence in who they are following, friend requesting and such other interactive features. I know this is beginning to become an idea more explored for the future of GD updates, but I think a feature to have would be large group chats with multimedia sharing, and this would be very useful for a number of reasons that don't appear immediately visible on the surface. How it would work is that players could be added to a specific chat under a name, and it could work more like a Discord server depending on the settings of the chat. This means friends could make a small chat to talk with each other, or alternatively bigger players could make larger chats with multiple channels for their fans. I know this is copying Discord, But if this feature is on GD within the client, then it is bringing more use back to the game and is delivering a better platform for the community to play the game on. Something I think could also be used for is clans and mega collab teams, and when I said multimedia sharing earlier, this is what I meant. You could share levels and maps without uploading them, and this would stop a hell of a lot of level mining in the community and copyables of partially completed levels getting leaked. Generally, if work is put into this feature, then it could really go a long way in helping the community congregate and keeping the community in-game as opposed to offline. Another feature that many have wanted for a while is texture pack add-ons. Texture packs have always been a big thing in the community for their creativity and use by big players. However, having to download them from Mediafire and having to load them yourself is annoying. One thing I would like to see is a texture pack shop of sorts and an in-game feature to load new texture packs. You can buy things like death effects and trails in the community shop now, and I think this would be a good start. Texture packs could be sold for a high cost of orbs, meaning players would have to play the game more to collect these orbs, and it's a win-win for RobTop and the players that get to utilise new texture packs. This would also include music changing too, just something to change up the already established formula in GD that's become quite repetitive in my opinion. I'm not going to dwell too much on this one as it's fairly obvious. How many of you have been practicing a hard level for the first time and dying repetitively, only for the respawn time to keep throwing you off so you die more, all while that really annoying practice theme plays? Pretty much everyone. If we respawned faster, it might make first practice mode runs of levels more interesting. So this next one is under the same sort of heading as the group chat feature. Basically, I think the concept of what is currently in the GD forums should be moved to actual Geometry Dash. A new forum option could be added that would have all the same features, live chats, threads, discussion boards, etc. And if the forum was implemented in GD, then everybody could join with a GD account, rather than having to register for a ProBoards account, which as we all well know doesn't always work the first time around. More people could see and join discussions, and this is again a way GD could bring the community to congregate more in-game. The whole point of Meltdown, Sub-Zero and World was that once you had completed everything, you were led to the full game. I imagine for players that have entered the community via these separate games, not having the Meltdown levels or same style of levels would be a little bit weird. So, as this would not be losing out on anything for RobTop, I would add all the levels from the previous games into new sections. World's levels would be particularly interesting, as they could be added like gauntlet levels rather than just boring new level additions. You could have like a tab which allows you to switch themes or something, or you could even just have the other levels as new gauntlets or map packs, seeing as there are only 3 levels in each game besides World. I guess I'm going back on my own morals somewhat with this one, but if I was RobTop, I'd release another Geometry Dash game for the App Store, and this one would be a seasonal themed game. For those of you who follow the big channels on Twitter, you may have noticed some sort of parody art and fan art for Sub-Zero, and I thought some of this looked really good. Seeing as there's so many themes for potential games, I thought why not merge them? You could have something like Geometry Dash Seasons, which I know sounds slightly reminiscent of Angry Birds, and it could have worlds structure of stages within a specific block of levels, and there could be 4 blocks for each season, all with Sub-Zero difficulty and detail levels. RobTop could even charge for this game, as there'd be around 20 well-crafted medium to hard levels for people to play, using a wide range of gameplay styles and effects he's created, which is quite far removed from the original game of Geometry Dash. This would merge all the other game clients together, and there'd be no more need for new free games that never get updated every Christmas. Okay, so I've saved the best and most controversial and detailed one for last. Basically, MgostIH had this idea a little while ago after RobTop was seen to be too dismissive of the hacking community, even though they kept compromising his work. One thing MgostIH wants Rob to do is release a debugging database, which is information generating when he creates the game, such as compiling information and developer stuff like that. This information, according to MgostIH himself, holds a map of all the functions inside the game, which could be utilised to make developing mods for GD a lot easier. Now, modding is a common practice in a lot of games, where individuals edit features and change stuff, and it would make it much easier to change features in GD than it is now. RobTop does not advocate mods for his game and has never been one who really wants his game to be open source or developed by other people. But on the other side, you have the hackers community arguing that this game is progressing so slowly that modding could really speed up the progression of things if new features are developed by the community that could result in new enhancements to the game. If I were Rob Tobb, I would at least release this debugging database to see what he could make from it. So there were a few upgrades, changes and alterations I would perform on Geometry Dash if I were in Rob Tobb's position. I'd like to thank Normakes for the video idea, and I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please smash that like button, and if you could consider subscribing if you're new around here, then it would really help me out. The growth on the channel has been mad recently, and I did some maths the other day and worked out that if current sub growth stays the way it is, I'll hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of June. I'm not putting down any targets, but that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Anyway, thanks a lot guys, I'll see you all soon.